Imagine this. A world stitched together from the ashes of dying universes. A patchwork planet where Thor serves as a soldier, Spider-Man bows to doom, and barons rule over fragments of reality. This is Battleworld, a world ruled by a god in armor, Dr. Doom, wielder of the Beyonder's power. And in this universe, something changes. When the multiverse collapsed, one more light pierced the void. A golden streak through the chaos. A woman shaped by gods and war. Diana of Themyscira, Wonder Woman. Her world was supposed to die. The gods of Olympus had fallen. Paradise Island was dust and cosmic wind. But as reality shattered, Diana refused to surrender. She heard the cries of every collapsing world and answered them. The Beyonder's power pulled champions from every reality. But Wonder Woman wasn't summoned. She forced her way in. Her lasso burned through the fabric of space. Her bracelets split the veil between worlds. And through the fire of creation itself, she emerged, standing on the sands of Battleworld. The first thing she saw was madness. An army of Thors patrolling the skies, each hammer crackling with godlike authority. They called themselves the Thor Corps, Doom's divine police. And the moment they saw her, they attacked. No questions. No mercy. Lightning struck the sand. Thunder split the sky. Diana stood alone against an army of gods. Her shield deflected the first bolt. Her lasso snapped through the second. And when one Thor dared to strike her head-on, she met Mjolnir with her own weapon, the Sword of Athena. The impact tore open the ground beneath them. Shockwaves rolled across the desert. When the dust settled, the Thors had fallen. Diana stood, her armor scorched, her eyes aflame. She whispered a single word, enough. The surviving Thors hesitated. One, a younger version of Jane Foster, looked at her in awe. "You're not from here, are you?" Diana shook her head. "No, but I'm here now. Tell your master, his kingdom has a visitor." Within hours, word spread through the fragments of reality. A stranger had arrived. A warrior who fought gods and won. A woman who wielded truth like a weapon. When the news reached Doomstadt, the world's capital, the throne room fell silent. Even Dr. Doom himself turned from his obsidian throne, his masked gaze fixed on the holographic image of the Amazon standing beneath the crimson sky. "Another god who thinks she can defy me," he murmured. "Let her come. Let her see what divinity truly means." Diana walked across the Deadlands for days, cutting through regions ruled by Doom's barons. She saw Ultron's mechanical empire, Apocalypse's mutant war zones, and the endless hunger of the Marvel zombies. Everywhere she went, she found survivors, heroes, rebels, broken souls who remembered the worlds before. They followed her, not because she promised victory, but because she dared to speak against a god. She carried her banner in silence, a single phrase etched in her shield: "No man should rule all worlds." When she finally reached the gates of Doomstadt, she didn't sneak in. She announced herself. Her voice thundered across the realm. "Victor Von Doom, you call yourself God." But even Olympus knew, no god rules forever. The city trembled. Lightning fell in waves. And Doom appeared, not from the sky, but from within her shadow. He'd been watching her all along. His armor glowed with the power of creation itself. Every step reshaped reality. The air warped around him. Even her lasso flickered under the strain of his presence. "I'm not a god by choice, Amazon," Doom said. "I'm a god by necessity. The universe demands order." Diana's eyes narrowed. "And who decides that order?" "I do," he answered, his voice echoing like thunder. Their battle shook the walls of reality. Wonder Woman's blade clashed against Doom's omnipotence. Her divine strength cracked his armor. His power bent space itself around her. Every strike carried the weight of universes. Every parry ignited stars in the sky. It wasn't just a fight between hero and villain. It was a war between truth and control. Doom tried to rewrite her existence. He whispered, "You never existed." Themyscira was a dream, but Diana's lasso shone bright, blinding him. Truth doesn't vanish just because a tyrant denies it. For a moment, just one, Dr. Doom faltered. A god hesitated, and Wonder Woman broke his mask. The world gasped. The Thor stopped mid-strike. Even the heavens went silent. For the first time in ages, Doom bled. But before she could finish the fight, the sky tore open. From above, energy surged, a voice beyond gods, beyond Doom, beyond reason. The Beyonder was watching, and he was amused. "So, another goddess dares to enter my game." The light consumed them both, and when it faded, Wonder Woman was gone. Vanished from Doomstadt, vanished from Battleworld, but not from history, because her rebellion had planted something dangerous in the hearts of Battleworld's people. Hope. When the blinding light faded, Diana found herself standing on glass. An endless void stretched beneath her feet. Galaxies swirled in the distance. A voice thundered from everywhere and nowhere at once. "You defy my design, Amazon. You cross realities uninvited." What? It was the Beyonder, the being who had once toyed with universes like chess pieces. His voice was neither cruel nor kind, just curious. Diana raised her head, her armor cracked but her will unbroken. Because justice doesn't belong to one world. When evil spreads across the stars, I follow. The Beyonder was silent for a moment. Then came the hum of cosmic laughter. Interesting. You believe yourself righteous, yet you fight to destroy my chosen God. She didn't blink. Then your God is unworthy. In the next instant, the void shattered. Diana fell, slamming back into the sands of Battleworld. Her body trembled from the fall, but she rose, steady as steel. Across from her stood Dr. Doom, his mask reformed, his aura blazing like a dying sun. The Beyonder had returned them both for one final test. "This world is my creation," Doom said coldly. "And you, goddess, are a flaw in perfection." "Perfection," she said, eyes narrowing. "You rule through fear." "That's not perfection. It's prison." Doom raised his hand, and the sky cracked. Buildings folded in on themselves. Reality bent, kneeling before his command. But Diana didn't move. She wrapped her fingers around her lasso of truth, glowing golden against the crimson storm. "You can twist the world, Doom, but you can't twist what's real." Then the war began. A storm of energy and lightning collided as Wonder Woman charged, shield raised, her sword slicing through the distortion around her. Doom unleashed blasts that could disintegrate mountains. Each strike could have erased her from existence. But she kept coming. Every step forward was a defiance of creation itself. Every swing of her sword was an act of faith. Doom summoned the Thors. Dozens. Hundreds. Each one thundered down from the heavens, divine lightning crackling across the battlefield. It didn't matter. She fought them all. Her blade severed thunder. Her lasso caught hammers mid-flight. Her voice roared above the storm. "You call this order? You've enslaved gods to fight your wars." One by one, the Thors fell. Their hammers thudded into the dirt around her like fallen stars. And even through the chaos, one of them, Jane Foster again, watched with awe, whispering, "She fights like lightning itself at a heartbeat." From his throne of light, Doom watched. And for the first time, he looked uncertain. "Why do you fight, Amazon? This world was broken. I saved it." Diana's blade met his armored chest, sparks flying. "You didn't save it. You chained it." He grabbed her wrist, crushing steel with godlike strength. "You cannot comprehend the cost of chaos. I have seen universes burn." "Then maybe they needed to," she growled, head-butting his mask. The impact sent shockwaves through the air. For an instant, Doom's eyes glowed, not with anger but doubt. Then came the turning point. The Beyonder's voice boomed again. "Enough. One of you speaks truth. One of you speaks control. Let the world decide who is worthy. The sands of Battleworld shifted. Reality split open like a wound. Every region, every baron, every Thor, each one saw the duel unfolding above them in the crimson sky. The people watched. Mutants, machines, gods, monsters. Even Reed Richards, imprisoned in Doom's dungeon, looked up and whispered, "She's giving them something Doom never could choice." The duel continued. Diana's blade shattered Doom's armor again and again. But each time, he rebuilt it with a thought. Her strength met his infinity. Her truth met his divinity. Until finally, she dropped the sword. She coiled her lasso instead, stepping closer, her voice soft but unyielding. "You say you carry the burden of every soul on this world. Then face them." She lashed the lasso around him. Light burst across the sky. The lasso of truth bound a god. Doom screamed. The truth cut deeper than any blade. The mask cracked again. And through that fracture, everyone, every soul of Battleworld, saw it. The truth of Victor Von Doom. A man terrified of failure. A man so afraid of losing control, he destroyed choice itself. He fell to his knees. For the first time, the god of Battleworld trembled. But victory came at a cost. The strain was too much, even for an Amazon. Her armor splintered. Her body faltered. Yet she refused to let go. "Let the people be free, Victor," she whispered, "even if it means losing everything." With one final surge, the lasso burned white-hot and shattered. The light exploded outward, flooding every fragment of the world. When it cleared, Doom was gone. Battleworld changed. The sky was blue again. The lands are separate, no longer fused by fear. But Wonder Woman had vanished. For days, chaos followed. The barons argued. The Thors disbanded. But through the ruins, people whispered of an unseen figure walking the deserts, a woman in broken armor, carrying a sword made of light. And on the walls of Doomstadt, someone painted her words in gold. "No god rules forever." Silence. That's what remained after the storm. No thunder. No war cries. No doom. Only the faint hiss of wind moving through a world reborn. For the first time since the Beyonders Grand Experiment began, Battleworld was free. Mountains no longer bent under Doom's will. The Thors disbanded, their hammers falling silent. And in the center of that quiet, walking barefoot through the shattered ruins of Doomstadt, was Diana of Themyscira. Her armor was broken, her shield dented, but her eyes, those warriors' eyes, still burned like truth itself. It didn't take long for chaos to rise. Without Doom's control, the barons of each region began fighting for power. Baron Apocalypse of the mutant territories declared himself the rightful ruler. Ultron from Perfection City sent mechanical armies across the borders. Even the undead from the Deadlands began pushing outward. The fragile peace Doom had enforced with fear was collapsing without him. And yet, in that chaos, hope flickered, because people began remembering something they hadn't in years: freedom. One night, Diana stood on the edge of a cliff overlooking the divided lands. She watched as lightning crackled in the distance, battles raging far below. Beside her, a familiar voice spoke. "You've changed everything, Amazon." It was Jane Foster, no longer a Thor. Her hammer was gone, her power stripped when Doom fell. But she smiled unburdened. "You gave us choice again. But choice is messy." Diana nodded. "Freedom always is. The question is, will they fight for it or waste it?" That's when the air shimmered. Reality twisted again. And from the distortion, a radiant figure emerged. The Beyonder. He looked almost human now, his cosmic glow dimmed, as though even he had learned something. "I watched your rebellion, Diana. You broke my perfect design. Your perfection was a cage," she said. "The universe needs imperfection. That's how it grows." The Beyonder tilted his head, curious again, but this time gentler. "Perhaps. But Battleworld is unraveling. You destroyed its god. Now it needs a guardian. Diana frowned. You want me to replace Doom? No, he said softly. I want you to guide it, not rule it. Teach them what even gods forget, how to stand on their own. For the first time, she hesitated. Not because she doubted herself, but because she knew the truth of it. Battleworld wasn't her home. Her home was Themyscira, Earth, a Justice League. Her people. But when she looked across the lands, mutants, heroes, villains, machines, all fighting, all struggling for something better, she saw another kind of people, ones who still needed her. So Diana stayed. Weeks passed. She traveled through each region. Apocalypse's wastelands, the Hulk's domain, even the Deadlands. Everywhere she went, she stopped the endless cycle of violence. Not by conquest, but by truth. When the mutants refused peace, she made them see the truth of Doom's lies. When Ultron's drones marched on humanity, she lassoed his core and made him face the paradox of his logic. You were made to protect life, yet you destroy it. Which purpose is the lie? Even Ultron hesitated. Battleworld slowly began to change, not by force but by choice. New alliances formed. Old enemies laid down arms. And at the center of it all, Diana created something that had never existed there before, the Hall of Unity. A place where mutants, humans, gods, and machines could gather not as enemies, but as equals. She called it New Themyscira. Months later, as peace finally began to root itself, the Beyonder appeared again. But this time, he did not speak as a god. He bowed. You've taught them more than I ever could, he said. Perhaps I, too, had to learn the limits of power. Diana smiled faintly. Power without purpose is just noise. And what will you do now, he asked. She looked toward the stars. Return home. My world needs me too, but I leave them their truth. With that, the Beyonder opened a doorway of light. Diana stepped through, but not before looking back one last time. Battleworld shimmered behind her. A world once built on control, now thriving on choice. Children played in the streets of Doomstadt. Lightning danced across the sky, not as a weapon, but as hope. When she returned to Earth, the Justice League was waiting. Superman, Batman, Aquaman, all gathered as she emerged from the portal. You've been gone for months, Clark said softly. What happened? Diana smiled, setting her sword down. I saw a world ruled by fear. I broke it with truth. And I learned something, Clark. Even gods can forget what it means to be human. Batman crossed his arms. You mean you fought God Doom and lived? She laughed quietly. No, Bruce. I fought a man who thought he was a god. And I reminded him, no one rules forever. As the stars glowed above Themyscira, the Amazon rested at last. But far beyond, in the distant remains of Battleworld, the people built statues in her image, not as a deity, but as a reminder of the day they learned what truth truly meant. And on the base of that statue, words were carved in gold. Where gods fell, truth rose. Wonder Woman of Battleworld.